Okay, y'all, tell me if I'm overreacting. So, my daughter just got home from school and she took a social studies test today. And she got one of the answers wrong on her social studies test. The question is, name a hero or key figure from a long time ago that helped connect people in a civilization by making society better. She put Harriet Tubman for fighting against slavery. The teacher marked it wrong and said that Harriet Tubman did not fit the definition of a hero. For context, we live in a red state. So, now I'm thinking, should I send an email so that I can get in writing why Harriet Tubman does not fit the definition of a hero? Or should I let it go because we live in a red state? And I expect this from these kind of people. And so I'm not sure because I make it a point to teach my daughter Black history at home because I know when she gets into these spaces, they're going to tell her the big lie that heroes only come in a certain skin color. And so I am preparing her so when she hears the lie, she'll know what it is, propaganda. And so, yeah, what would you guys do?
So hold on a minute. You meant to tell me a black woman who was enslaved, owned like property, escaped slavery, right? Freed her people, went back and back again to free more people, outsmarted slave enforcers, did so many things to make sure how people made sure that their legacies went on, to make sure that black people could continue living as free people and not as property that the white people could have. You mean that woman is not a hero? What is happening in this world? What is happening in this world, But I think what it is that people may see, there are people who see Harriet Tubman and think, oh, she was not a hero, but it's because the definition of hero is someone who died peacefully, someone who just was all about the talk and didn't do any work. That's the definition of to some people, right? And the fact that it doesn't even align with their system, it doesn't align with their whiteness, it doesn't align with the fact that they don't want to believe that this woman, or her words on how she was doing certain things. She carried a gun, she was very strict and she enforced what she had to enforce to get people out. She did what she had to do, right? But people want to draw a line at that woman, but they're okay praising slave owners. They're okay praising people who own plantations. They're okay praising people who were treating other human beings like horrible people. That's what people are okay with. Now, that's deemed as a hero. But a black woman who freed her people over and over again, who outsmarted the other people, now that woman is not a hero. Let's see what other black people have to say about that.
Yeah, right.
So apparently we reached the part of digital delusion where people are out here saying that Harriet Tubman wasn't real. And honestly, I should have known we were headed here, right? Because the moment you start telling the real truth about Black resistance, somebody always tries to rewrite the ending, but this time they picked the wrong one, all right? Let me make this real simple. Harriet Tubman was a real person. I think the problem is that a lot of them just can't fathom the idea that a disabled Black woman who couldn't read, lived with seizures, and was born into bondage still outsmarted the system multiple times over. So instead of sitting with that, y'all default to, oh, well, she must be a myth. Because God forbid someone exists outside the mold that you've been spoon-fed. So let's run this back. She was born Araminta Ross in Maryland. Yeah, she was enslaved. She took a blow to the skull from her overseer that nearly killed her. And when she escaped in her 20s, she could have stayed gone. But she didn't. She went back again and again and walked more than 70 people to freedom. And no, she didn't float on vibes. She knew the signs, the land, the networks. She carried a gun. She told people, you'll be free or you'll be dead. Pick one. But wait, there's more. She worked with John Brown. She served as a Union spy and led the Coombe River Raid in 1863, freeing over 700 people in a single night. But sure, she's a myth. Because clearly a black woman doing the impossible must mean it didn't happen, right? Y'all will believe in talking snakes, cherry trees, and founding fathers who somehow love liberty while owning people. But you draw the line at Harriet Tubman. Make it make sense. So here's the real issue. Harriet didn't just escape. She turned around and made herself the nightmare of the slave-holding South. She was strategic, ruthless, and brilliant. But apparently y'all aren't ready for that version. So no, I'm not going to debate her existence. But what I will do is say this. If Harriet Tubman feels too real to be real, that says more about your imagination than it ever will about her. She lived, she freed, she wrecked the entire system with her own bare hands. And that's what you're trying to erase.
I don't feel like I would have followed Harriet Tubman.
So I'm a little late to this party because for some reason, the people who send me videos that I don't want to see or don't need to see or insult my intelligence don't send me videos like this. No, they didn't send me this video. So I'm going to have words with them later. But for now, let's get it. Now, this ashy, musty, dusty, know your breath stink, knock off burnt Pillsbury Doughboy is some kind of internet comedian who calls himself Jay Will. And Jay Will took to Kid L's podcast and had the following to say about disrespecting Harriet Tubman and how he wouldn't have followed her. We are not surprised.
I don't feel like I would have followed Harriet Tubman. Why? Simply because, for one, I don't know your conversion rate. Nobody knows that. Like, how many people really made it through the Underground Railroad? We just know she had that, but nobody know, like, 400 people made it through. Like, no, she might have been, like, the only person that knew how to get through this shit. People dying, she going back getting some more and trying it again. Nobody know who really made it. So I wouldn't have followed her based on that. Secondly,
we'll come back to secondly for that Rocket Raccoon is going to speak some truth in his second half. And I'm just going to leave this right here. But this is intentional. I hear people say that when Rocket Raccoons do shit like this, that they're just ignorant, or they are ignorant. And they wouldn't care even if they know, because racists know this fact. Rocket Raccoons are so busy worshiping at the teat of white supremacy and trying to choke on its glizzy that they will say anything that they think endears them to white supremacists. And you saw the act that he was giving. Even the host of the podcast was like, what? Yeah, because these Rocket Raccoon clowns don't care. They will do anything they can to get proximity to whiteness, even lie. Yeah, he don't know because he doesn't care to know that Harriet Tubman freed everybody who got on her railroad. She didn't lose one passenger. I understand. I'm not trying to teach that Rocket Raccoon, T-Boo, Pillsbury, Burnt Doughboy anything. But before any of y'all follow him down that path, understand it is well documented that Harriet Tubman between 1850 and 1860 made approximately 15 to 19 trips by herself to the South and helped escort at least 70 people into the North to freedom. Yeah, so before you follow him down that road, know that fact. Also, not only did Harriet Tubman help John Brown plan his 1859 raid on Harper's Ferry's arsenal, she also helped the Union Army conduct a military assault during the Civil War that freed more than 700 individuals besides the 70 she freed on her own during her Underground Railroad campaigns. Now, let's get to secondly from this Rocket Raccoon. And this may be the part that you choose to leave at because there's nothing but ad hominems coming from me after this point. Let's get it.
Secondly, I feel like I would have been a pretty good slave. Like, I don't think I would have been getting beat to the point where I needed to leave, you know, because I know how not to with the people they was talking shit, man. That's why they getting, yeah, if my back looked like that, I probably would leave. But I just go to work, man, and sing and you know, I don't have a reason to leave. I ain't got fucked up yet. Y'all talking shit. I realize, hey man, I think this how it's gonna be for a little while. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go along with it. You know, if y'all wanna be on that Nat Turner shit, cool. Y'all will be historians later on in life. They gonna talk about y'all, but it ain't worth it to me. I'd rather just be a nigga that didn't make the history books. And maybe I'll be in one of the pictures or something in the background, like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to be, slave, Jay Will, free. No, I don't need that story because 9 times out of 10, I died doing that shit. So, no, I'm not following Harriet Tubman. And if she was just patient enough, Abraham Lincoln was about to get elected and set him free. So if you would have just chilled a couple months,
This voluntary buck broken, voluntary buck dancing, voluntary knockoff Timu house Negro that when master says he's sick, he repeats, we sick, master, is a prime example how Rocket Raccoons feel about slavery and how they feel about enduring it, because it wasn't an endurance to them. They would just be happy to sing and dance and swallow master's glizzy on a regular basis like he's talking about. He didn't tell one lie about himself. He wasn't buck broken against his will. He was buck broken voluntarily. If you don't know what it is, go look it up. And he is continuing to do the work for master because that's what you do when you hate yourself to this degree. Yeah, this is what he does. He thinks his proximity to telling these stories and denigrating black icons will endear him to a white supremacist audience who will pay him to keep doing it. Therein lies our problem, because we allow these people to continue to breathe air as they show us who they are. Before any one of you adjacent Rocket Raccoons fall into my comment section talking about he's a comedian and he was just telling a joke, motherfucker you too. It's always a joke to you all as we watch our black icons and our black excellence be denigrated to less than they are. Yeah, always a joke. So motherfucker you. And this isn't childish or immature. This is intentional. This burnt Timu knockoff Pillsbury Doughboy is intentionally doing this. And the minute you all realize that and stop making excuses or showing grace to these kinds of Rocket Raccoons, I told you all, they have their own genus and species. Rocket Raccoonus have their own species. Listen to me. And it is Rocketus raccoonus. That's what they are. So I don't feel like I am talking about a black person. I'm talking about a rocket raccoon. And it is open season because they need to be... Pinky is calling me. I have to go.
Okay guys, we've come to the end of this episode. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. If you have drop a 1, you could have picked any video in the world, but you picked this one, and for that, love. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow me on all my socials at JohnnyTamaya, johnnytamaya.com, and do let me know what you think in the comment section because this is quite absurd.